Okay, so moving on into the next chapter of convexity in fixed income securities. And there was a brief discussion on convexity in the initial calculations that we had done when we were trying to understand the relationship between yield and prices. So we're just gonna kind of, just revise that first so that that context comes into this chapter and then we get into the more advanced calculation, right? So I've taken an example of a bond out here, if it's visible, right? So it's a par bond. 1.5% is the coupon, which means that the yield is also same whenever I'm saying the bond is par. And then now let's try to calculate what is the various present value when these yields changes by 0.5% or 50 basis point, right? So I'm going to select the rate of the yield. Right? So that's going to be the yield. And the NPER is going to be fixed at 30. However, what is going to actually change is the yield itself, right? So nothing else changes except the fact that the yield changes. So we can see now we have a first price of 127.79. I'm just going to double click this and we're going to get various present value of the bond, right? Now what we are interested is in understanding how these 50 basis point changes between the yields affect the prices, right? So let's find out the difference between the price, right? So the price you can see is, let's say, between this and this, it's about 14 rupees or dollar change if we were to consider in rupee terms. I mean, it really doesn't matter whether it's rupee or dollar, but look at the amount, right? So for every 50 basis point change, the price changes are different, right? It is not exactly the same. And if you want to look at it from a percentage change, so if I divide this 14.89 over the initial present value price, then this is 11.65%. And if I double click it, then I get the various price changes. Before we look at the chart, what we need to look out here is the fact that on every 50 basis point change in yield, can you look at the percentage change which is not linear, right? So we come to the right side and you see that this curve is not a straight line. In fact, there is a kind of, if you look at it from a, I'll zoom out angle, from far away, you can clearly make out this is not straight. And this curvature is what is called as convexity. So now when we are actually calculating duration from the previous chapter, right? So duration is only, calculating what is the effect of a turn rather than curvature. So duration is basically assuming that all the price changes which are happening on a linear basis, and hence the price changes should be linear. But when we look at the actual calculation and the behavior of a bond, we realize that this curvature is not measured by the duration. So that's what we're going to calculate first. And let's calculate first the duration as well as the convexity along with it so that this gets cleared. So we've taken an example here. The bond has N of 10, 6.2% is the coupon, and the rate is also 6.2, which makes the bond as a par bond, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to calculate the present value of these coupons using the rate that we have. So 6.2 divided by 1 plus R, right, raised to 1. So that's our first present value of the coupon. And then of course, if I just double click it, I'm just going to make sure that the discounting is fixed, right? So there you go. And this is basically my present value of all the cash flows I don't get, including the final 10th period cash flow, which is the coupon plus the par value or the face value of the bond or the principal which we get in return. Now what we do is we find the weight of each of these present value over the total present value, right? So the total present value is obviously 100. So I'm going to sum this up together, right? So basically that is the total present value. And then I get the various present value weightages. So you can see not all cash flows have the same weightage in the present value, obviously because of the factor of time, right? You might say that these coupons are the same. Because of these time, the present value is different. And because of this present value is different, that's where the present weightage is also different. Now, if I multiply this weight, present value weight, into the time that it takes to collect this cash flow. So for example, in this case, 5.83 coupon that we're going to get is the present value, right? And that is the weightage of this coupon, which is 5.84%. But if I quantify this weight in terms of time that it takes to collect, which is 1 year, so then its weight, weighted time is 0.05. And similarly, if you look at the second coupon, so its weightage is 5.5, but from a time angle, its actual weightage is about 0.10 or 10%, and so on. So I'm just going to do a double click so that we get the calculation for all the various coupons. Now we sum this up, and this is exactly what we calculated in the previous lecture of the annual portfolio duration, right? This is 7.74. Now I'm saying annual because if this were to be, let's say, semi-annual periods, then I will have to obviously divide it by 2, right, to get the duration for annual. Now, from this angle, now we're going further to calculate convexity. Now, convexity, there are 2 methods to calculate. One is obviously the spreadsheet method, and second is the method which is the approximation formula. And we're going to be looking at both, right? So, the convexity calculation in terms of the spreadsheet is calculated as, first we look at the time. So I've actually given the exact formula here. So time to receipt, right? So the time out here to receive the first cash is 1 year. So we just take a multiplication factor of that, and so this is 1, that is the time, into 1 plus the time. So basically doubling it, because remember, why are we doubling it? Because when we calculate the duration, right, we're basically calculating the slope of the bond, right? And when we are calculating now the convexity, we're basically going into a double derivative. Now, if you want to avoid all that mathematical understanding, it's best to just keep it simple and just try to understand the formula, because in my opinion, when you actually try to understand this more from a mathematical angle, this tends to become even more complicated than it should be, right? So just try to understand here the fact that this B27 that I'm taking out here is nothing but the first derivative, which is the duration that we calculated. And now, since I am trying to also consider the fact that this duration, right, this duration, when we look at this chart which we had created on the top of the yield of the bond, right, which has now got lost. So I'm just going to make it again. Oh yeah, it's here. So if you see this graph that is there, right, now the reason why this curvature is actually happening is because the present value of the cash flow is dependent on compounding and discounting, right? And since there is compounding and discounting, that curve actually exists. That's the reason why we're doing time, right, into 1 plus time, because this is the compounding factor, right? So that's the first part of the calculation. Then we multiply the PV weight, because remember this time, but what is the weight? So the weight is 5.84%, right? And then we divide this by 1 plus the YTM, which is 6.2%, right? And we square it. So that gives us the convexity effect at the same time. So remember, if you look at the first period, first time to receipt, coupon 6.2, the duration, which is weight and time, was 0.05, but the convexity is 0.10, right? Now double click this again, similar to how we did the calculation for duration as well. And now if I just add this up together, right, this gives me a total annual convexity of 68.744. Now, in order to interpret this, remember this convexity does not really tell you directly